Please enter the conference PIN number.
I'm on.
Good mind learning. Hey, good morning.
Good morning.
Morning, Tracy.
Hello. I'm morning. All right.
We got everybody?
Let's kick it off here.
Heather?
I'm here. Yeah, I think everybody from Indiana's on.
All right. Well, listen, I thought about this morning and I wasn't feeling so well. I had a great birthday and kind of had a restless night last night. And I thought, you know what? I'm not going to ignore how fortunate we are this morning and just have a regular meeting. So I really want to lift you all up, but I also want to know, want you to know that there is a lot going on in the world right now, especially in America. And I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I didn't stay up all night watching the news. I'm not going to pretend like I'm not disgusted or I'm not judgmental or I'm not fearful or I'm not concerned or I'm not aware or I'm not woke or I'm not prejudiced or I'm not. And I don't think that we all can afford as an organization to not be aware of our own feelings. And I know some of you are wondering where I'm going with this, so I'm going to get to it. I really want you to understand that we cannot ignore that something is wrong. We can't ignore that our family and friends are being split apart, either subconsciously or consciously. We can't ignore that there is a diabolical element out there on the news that's pushing us one way or the other. We just can't ignore that our children are going to be raised by the news if we don't raise them. We can't ignore that we have work to do that's bigger than even Payserve Systems. We can't ignore that the very thing that we enjoy, the safety in my house, the safety in your house, the community that you can get out there and walk around in, is different than other communities. We can't ignore the fact that if Sam or I walked into a building with a fake $20 bill, that we more than likely, I'm not even going to say that, we would have walked out of there unharmed. We can't ignore that these things are going on. And I'm not trying to incite anything other than awareness within the world that I'm actually, I guess, in charge of. You know, I'm not in charge of your lives, but I'm in charge of your well-being when it comes to the company and those things. And we do these talks and we talk about them often and we call them CEO sessions and things of that nature. But really today isn't about Payserve Systems. Today is more about, what can we do? Because I know that you're watching the same versions of some news and we're laying in bed at night and we're wondering, what is going on and what can we do? I mean, because that's the type of people we are. We don't really just lay around and say, oh, that's them. We're asking ourselves what we can do. And so I thought I would answer that question because I know every one of you on this phone call has said to yourself, but what can I do? Paige, but what can we do? Baby, but what can we do? My boyfriend or whoever the other person is, but what can we do? The friends, the customers you're talking to with the slants and the slurs, but what can we do? And then we use the word they. That word they is a problem. Because they call us they. There are two theys out there. So what can we do about them? What can we do about them calling us they? What can we do about ourselves, calling them they? What can we do? So there's two things that we can do and only one real answer. And the reason I'm giving you this conversation this morning is because I feel it's incumbent upon me to share my thoughts. And I'm hopeful that you'll share some of these thoughts, if not all of them, and you're willing to push back if there's some concerns. But I think as a company going forward, we need to be more understanding. We need to understand what the word they means. And we need to understand, more importantly, that they have the same word they. So what can we do? Two things we can do is, one, look at the other side. Now, I mean, look at the other side. I don't even know what side you're on, but there is another side. What can we do? There's two things that we can do. I want you to look at the other side. I want you to deeply look at the other side. Whatever side you're on, look at the other side. Ask yourself, why would one man kill another? Ask yourself, why would one man kill another? Ask yourself this, why would one person be so inclined to rob, burn, and pillage? Why? Because if you're on one side, unfortunately, like everybody is, and on another side, unfortunately, like everybody is, one side is looking at the screen and saying, we have to stop them. We have to cut this and cut the head off the anaconda and all this crazy warific talk, which I'm sure there's an element of that out there. But we have to understand why. We can't just run headlong into problems not understanding the other side. Any good war general, any good leader will tell you, and I count myself as a good leader, I will tell you before you go into battle, before you go into a sale, before you go into any resolution conflicts, before you go into any troubled waters, don't you take the temperature? Don't you try to understand what the other side is going through? And so that's one thing that we can do. And I will tell you this, the answer of why one man would kill another and why one person would be inclined to rob, burn, and pillage is hate. So when I ask you this question, what can we do? I want you to understand, I am personally asking you, and I'm not asking for homework here. I'm just asking you to understand. I know you're asking the question, and I feel it's incumbent on me to give you an answer to that. So the one out of the two things we can do is look at the other side. Why would one man kill and one person rob, burn, and pillage for no reason whatsoever? And I will tell you it, that is hate. Two, what can we do? The second thing we can do is not ask ourselves, what can we do? But more so ask ourselves, what can't we do? We can't panic. We can't judge. I know it's easy to judge. Just watch the news. Those talking heads are the judge and jury. You pick a network, CNN, Fox, CNBC, any of them. They didn't miss one paycheck. Matter of fact, they're probably getting raises. The longer this goes, the more money they make. The longer they get their fame, the longer they get their notoriety, the longer they get to be the victims of being out there on the street and pretending like they're getting beat up and at risk at what really is going on, when in fact the people on the streets are really the ones that are in jeopardy. You watch how this plays out. We can't see color. We can't make excuses. We can't ignore that injustice exists. We can't let lawlessness take over our country and put our children and family and businesses and livelihood at risk. Not racism nor lawlessness can exist without hate. Not racism or lawlessness can exist without hate. So you follow me. So what can we do? I ask myself, what can I do? You're asking yourself what you can do. And I just want to summarize this because it's getting a little heavy this morning. And I want you to know that I'm so proud of you guys. I'm so proud of everything that we stand for. I'm so proud of this idea of who we are and how we're moving through these interesting times of a double pandemic. A double damn pandemic. Masks were once meant to prevent viruses, and now they're meant to rob, loot, and burn. What color mask are they wearing? A good mask or a bad mask? What mask are we wearing? What are we teaching our children? What are we saying to our customers? What are we saying to our parents? We're going to talk more about this in our subsequent talk called Branding Yourself. But what can we do? I'll close this morning with what can we do? There's two things we can do, my friends. We can look at the other side and try to understand them. Because they are saying they also. Number two, it's more about what we can't do than what we can do right now. We can't see color. We can't make excuses. We can't ignore that injustice exists. We can't let lawlessness, rioting and burning and robbing take over our country and our towns and our families and our fear. Both of these things are rooted in hate. Not racism nor lawlessness can exist without hate. So the only thing I ask you this morning is to not hate. Please don't hate. I'm proud of every one of you. We've got a lot of work to do, and I got your back. Thank you this morning. Tracy, could you take it away?